Today we will talk about women's role in government. Empowering and encouraging women to participate more fully in the public sphere is essential. Gender diversity in public institutions is particularly crucial, given that these decision-making bodies create the rules that affect people's rights, behaviors, and life choices. Equitable participation of women in politics and government is essential to building and sustaining democracy. More than 20 countries currently have a woman holding office as the head of a national government, and the global participation rate of women in national level parliaments is nearly 20%. Let's look at some significant events that happened in world history of women in politics. So, first woman who ran for the Congress was Elizabeth Cady Stanton in 1866, who received 24 of the 12,000 votes cast for New York State. First woman to run for president was Victoria Woodhull on the Equal Rights Party ticket in 1872. First black woman elected to Congress was Shirley Chisholm in 1968. These facts are very important, but let us move on to our days. Women are in every field of politics, in executive, legislative, judicial branches, and we know many featured women politicians such as Angela Merkel, Hillary Clinton, Margaret Thatcher, and etc. They are learning the rules of the game and using this knowledge and understanding to promote women's issues and concerns from inside the world's legislatures. In so doing, they are not only increasing the chances of their own success, but are also paving the way for a new generation of women to enter the legislative process.
Now let's talk about how are women represented in government today. To answer this question, we need to use some statistics. The world average of women represented in politics is 22.6%, that nearly doubled compared to 1995. Now we would like to show you world ranking that was compiled by Inter-Parliamentary Union in 1st February 2016. 191 countries are classified by declining order of percentage of women in the lower and single houses. First in this ranking was Rwanda, which is a country in Africa with 80 seats in parliament, out of which 51, that is 63.8%, are women. This number declines to 0, and the countries with 0% are Qatar, Yemen, Haiti, etc., which are situated in Africa and Oceania. It is interesting that in this ranking, the first and last places belong to African countries. Now let's see regional percentages. In 21 out of 28 European Union countries, at least one-third of members of the European Parliament are women. Finland has the largest share of women with 62%. Nordic countries have 41.1%, Americas 27.3%, Sub-Saharan countries 23.3%, Arab states 18.4%, and Pacific countries 13.2% of women representatives in parliament. You have seen women presidents and heads of government previously, and now let's talk about Caucasus countries. Caucasus countries include Armenia, Georgia, Azerbaijan. In Georgia, 17 out of 150 parliament members are women, that is 11.3%. In Azerbaijan, 21 out of 124 representatives are women. And in Armenia, which is in this ranking in the last place, it has 10.7%, that is 14 out of 131 representatives. Now let's concentrate more on Armenia. There is a fact that an amendment to the National Electoral Code stipulated that no more than 80% of candidates on a party list may be of the same gender. However, the code did not stipulate on the obligation to keep the quota requirement in the actual number of elected representatives. As a result, such approach makes the mandatory quota only a formality. In current cabinet, comprised of 18 ministers, there are only 3 female executives. They are heads of Ministry of Culture, Ministry of Justice, and Ministry of Diaspora. At the state and local level, there are only 2 female deputy governors and no female governors, that is marspets, in entire country. To sum up, there are 3 women representatives of executive branch in Armenia and 14 women in legislative branch. Now let's talk about judicial branch. If the number of judges of either gender represents less than 25% of the judiciary, at least 5 of the candidates included on the list of judiciary candidates must be of the gender. That is from the Judicial Code. And currently, women make up just over 1/5 of the total judiciary. As of 2011, all of the first instance courts have at least 1 woman on the bench. At the appellate level, women equal or exceed 25% of the judiciary, but women are less well represented at the cassation level. Notably, there are no female court chairs and therefore no women members of CCC, which is the body that has the authority over relating to the functions of the judiciary. The Constitutional Court has 9 members, including 1 woman. Totally, there are 48 out of 220 judiciary representatives of women in 2011.
Now let's discuss some points why we need more women in parliament. There are several characteristics that women use to govern, features of women that may impact our political life. First of all, studies show that female politicians are more likely to concentrate on issues that matter more to women, such as daycare, gender equality, elderly care, children's welfare. It also seems like common sense that women would be more likely to focus on these issues than men. Moreover, women have different styles of governing. Lane Kaplan shows that American female politicians have very different leadership styles from their male counterparts. Her study on state legislature committee chairs states that women are generally more cooperative and emphasize consensus building, while men are more aggressive. According to different studies such as Gender and Corruption article by Omar Asfar and Engineering Elections by C. Kudva, state that women are less corrupt. These 2 studies have found a statistically significant correlation between a higher proportion of women in government and a lower level of corruption at both the national and local level. However, there are still many barriers for women to enter the politics. Some of them are gender stereotypes, gender equality, lack of preparation of women for political activity, less demand for politics by women themselves, imbalance between their work and family, also finances. Women are more associated with the idea of having children, keeping the family, are not trusted in high responsibility works. They must try to balance their work and family duties and often lack time for the work. And because of the gender inequality and inefficient structures, we lack women in government. According to a survey done in Armenia, the picture is very much alike. From the listed things, the most difficult problem to enter politics for women starts from the family values, insufficient social demand by women, and end with absence of adequate legislation. And as we saw that increasing women in the government can be beneficial, now I will talk about how we can overcome the barriers, increase women's participation and integration in the government. There are several factors that can increase the number of women in the parliament and the government itself, and we will talk about some of them: education, quotas, financing. Education is often mentioned as a necessary prerequisite for ensuring women's greater political participation. Public schools' curriculum doesn't include anything about women's rights and the need for active female participation in all spheres of public life. Attention towards gender equality in schools, the focus should be on more specific education that directly engages